You can feel the anticipation. These people are focused. They are determined. They are ambitious. They are competitive. These are the faces of the men and women on the verge of one of the most unusual competitions ever presented on television. Welcome to the Drake Waterfowl 4x4 Team Medley. Pros and amateurs making up each team, men and women, each with their best dogs, each facing 3 difficult, dramatic, challenging tests. Can these dogs and these handlers perform in the field during a hunt test or face the challenge of a Hunt Saavy test? It takes discipline, athleticism, concentration, and focus, and only one team will come away the winner, all combining their strengths and talents and experience to present the drama. Welcome once again to the Drake Waterfowl 4x4 Team Medley. And these are the athletes. Look at their faces. They are ready. But the question is, are you? Let's find out.
Hello and welcome to Huntsville, Alabama for the first ever Drake Waterfowl 4x4 Team Medley competition. I'm Tommy Sanders, and joining me today for analysis is actually one of the participants in our competition. Today it will be Chris Aiken. And Chris, thanks first of all for being here. You have put together a spectacular career performing individually, but this is different stuff. This is team stuff. And as we look at the rules of competition, you'll have to tell us, what is the big difference?
Absolutely. In a retriever event, I always have to worry about one team member, okay? One teammate. All right, and it's a dog, so there's a lot to worry about. But let's face it, now I've got to worry about 4 dogs instead of just one. And not only do I have to worry about 4 dogs, we have to worry about the 4 of us doing the right things at the right time. So we got a lot on our plate to look forward to trying to get straightened out today.
And a lot on the viewers' plate as you see the running order now selected by our test dog. That is unique. And right now, let's bring on another member of our coverage team, David Hamilton, at the line with one of our judges.
As you mentioned, this is the first team event for the Super Retriever Series, and it is 3 series: a field trial, a hunt test, and a Hunt Saavy competition, which is where we begin. And with me now is Dana Giovanello, one of our judges. Just give us a quick description of the course here, Dana.
Well, today we're set up as a quad, and it's going to go right to left, the last bird being the wipeout bird. And what I mean by a wipeout bird is it's short, it's close to where the dog is. It gives that dog a lot of excitement, and it also wipes out what you've done out in the field because of the dog he's just keyed on that one bird that you've just thrown. So it ought to be interesting. The weather conditions look like they're going to be good. They've got tough conditions out here, either a hydrilla or a duckweed that they've got to contend with, all on all marks. It's just going to be a struggle.
So what's the money bird?
All of them are the money birds. We've set up to where right mark, the dog has got to drive to that bird and then check up when he comes out of the water. Most dogs, when they come out of that water, they just want to go. They want to go up the field. They want to go pick up. So he's got to really know where that bird's at. The second bird out in the field, it's an angle back, but still the dog, when he drives, there's not a lot of scent on these birds, because they're not ducks. So the dog's really got to know where that bird's at. And hopefully, the morning conditions, you'll have a little bit of hardly any wind at all. And then the afternoon, the wind will pick up. So dogs will every dog that runs is going to really have a different test. These handlers going to have to play the field. They're going to have to play the wind conditions. They're going to have to know what the winds are doing all the time to come up with these birds.
Now, you mentioned the thick cover. I mean, we're already kind of sinking in the mud here. How much is that going to affect you as a judge in what you're looking at with the dogs and the handlers?
Well, we're looking for a dog marking in memory. And with this hydrilla or duckweed, with them having to push through and struggle, it'll eat up some memory. Normally, what it takes a minute and a half to get a bird, this is going to take 3.5 minutes. This is probably going to be a 20-minute test. 20-minute test, that's a long test. You'll see dogs struggle. I don't think you'll see a dog do excellent, but I'm expecting some 10s, and I'm expecting some 0s. So I'm expecting a dog to come off that platform too.
All right, well, thanks for your help there, Dana. Enough of us talking. Let's get the show on the road.
By all means, let's get the show on the road. This is a fairly new proposition. This is not all about the relationship between one man and one dog, but now we have the added dimension of the team dynamic. So with the keys to victory, here's Rody Best.
The success of the team is going to be dependent upon the amateurs. The pros that run this sport are pretty consistently good. That's how they got here and that's how they stay here. The AMs, though, can fluctuate. So I figured getting the 2 best AMs I could would be the key to having a winning team, and that's what we did. We went out and got 2 of the best dogs with the best handler that we could find.
Drake Waterfowl's 4x4 Team Medley is powered by Yukanuba. Huntsville Sports Commission, showcasing one of the South's greatest cities. Water Dog E-Clinics, the world's first 24/7, 365 dog training experience. And by Thunder Equipment.
We are back, and our first team is now on the line. That would be Team Yukanuba. Stephen Durant and his dog Dude will be first up. And Chris, going first, is that good or bad?
Well, I'm not fond of it at all, I tell you. I mean, dogs do what dogs do, and so if you run first, you don't really know what everybody's going to do in the field that day. If you get to watch 8 or 10 of them, you watch 8 or 10 dogs all do the same thing, you know what you're up against and what you can combat. Steven's having to go up here cold. He's got Dude, really good dog. They'll come out fine.
And Stephen, he is accomplished. He is a pro, of course, and as we watch the marks come out, first impressions, Chris, how is Dude looking to you?
Oh, good. He knows he's seeing all the birds. That's the main thing, is getting them all seen. This is not easy to see these 2 birds on the other side of the pond. He saw all of them. He ought to do extremely well.
We looked at this test and figured that there's going to be some trails developed over time out to each bird and the blind, and we figured with my dog who's had 2 knee repairs, he's maybe not the best dog to go through that stuff just yet. So we figured going with Steven's dog, Dude, who's a bigger dog, could kind of wear us a trail and make it a little easier for our dogs as we got down through the day.
All right.
Well, Chrissy talked about blazing a trail. Let's talk specifics here. Blazing a trail exactly through what?
No, look at this stuff growing in the water. I mean, that's actually an aquatic plant that grows in there, and some of that stuff gets real stringy. I mean, it's literally, 10, 15, maybe even up to 20 feet long growing across there. So, and it kind of floats almost. It's real close to the water's edge at the top of it, what I'm trying to say. And so as that dog goes through there, it's hitting him in the neck and chest. It's really slowing him down, dragging him down. So the big, tall, powerful dog, maybe even that can touch the bottom, can go on blaze through this stuff and make some trails.
So that is the first bit of strategizing that we are seeing in this team competition. Using the team's biggest dog to push through the vegetation and more or less cut a trail. As we see right here, the Dude has done fairly solid work on that first bumper on his way back. And now the team is consulting about what here, Chris?
I'll tell you what they're doing. I think they're actually just really micromanaging. They're really figuring out exactly where those birds are. Are they in the yellow flowers? Or on this side of the yellow flowers? Are they 10 foot left of the willow trees? Are they 15 foot? I mean, they're all discussing exactly where that bird is in case, Dude gets out there, gets a little bit lost, and they can go ahead and tell Stephen exactly where the bird is so that he can, handle and get it picked up and get out of there. But you need to see that Dude's got it under control right here. He went to the area of the fall. He's hunting for the bird, and he's going to come up with it. Did a real good job on this mark here.
So these guys are giving support and, of course, extra eyes to the team that's running right now. But you got to think they're also filing all this info away for when they make their run, right?
Well, that's exactly what that's probably the biggest thing. But being up there at the line, you're getting to watch dogs do what other dogs are going to do. And you watch it at trials time and time again where everybody just makes the same mistake as a dog. And so you're trying to combat that. So you're watching to see what these dogs are going to do, so that when you get up there, you can put up a better score.
So how's he doing here?
Oh, he's doing a great job. I mean, this dog, he's a great marking dog. He's very compliant with what Stephen wants him to do, and they're a really good team together, and that's what you got to have.
We heard earlier, scent's not really in play here. So what's this dog running on?
Well, when you carry a GPS in your paw all the time, he knows where they're at, and that's what he's doing. You got to remember, Stephen's been able to line him up a little bit and help him, use his memory a little bit to his advantage. And then now what he's got to do is just use his depth perception. So 99% of this is marking, and the other part's going to be scent.
Rhodey kind of shaking his head here. Is he disappointed or?
I think he's very pleased. I think he's very pleased. It's a good one to have on your team for sure.
This again is Team Yukanuba. The dude is running right now, and he's about to enter the hardest part of this test, the blind. Would you explain again this test for us?
A blind retrieve is simply a bird that you didn't see fall at all. And, so what he's done is he's lined the dog up, gave him an exact direction to go, told him the word back versus his name, which means, expect control. If I blow the whistle, you turn around and look at me and go where I tell you to go. Now, dude's going out across there. He's on a straight line. Steven's going to hold him on that line. And what I mean by that, he doesn't need to be 20 foot to the right, 20 foot to the left. He needs to be directly on the line from A to Z. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's keeping him on that tight line. And you got to remember, he just picked up a bird to the left. He just picked up a bird on the right side. So that's what we call factors and suction. The bank's on the right as well. So there's a lot of things going on where a dude thinks, hey, I found a bird over here a minute ago. I could go get one over there. I found a bird over here a minute ago. I'll go get one over there. Or let me get on the bank and I can run instead of going through all this junk. And so there's a lot going on. And another thing right here, you see his willow bushes on the right. If he blows that whistle and that dog turns to the right like that, he could be out of sight. This whole deal could be over with right there.
So it's just that simple. It's kind of brutal. For all the good handling that's going on, success or failure can be decided by a foot or two, or even something simple like turning the wrong way.
That's right. And as you notice now, we know this dog turns to the right and kind of, looping up on the bank a little bit. You can't, there's no room for error. He's got him right in there where he needs to be. He's doing what he needs to do. But if he blows that whistle and that dog walks to the right, he's going to be out of sight. It could go south real quick.
You can see right there how close they were to losing control, but the deed is done. They've done it. Team Yukanuba, Steven Durrance, and Dude have completed this one. Let's take a look at the score. Oh, there's the score, 12 points. And you got to think Steven is, he's all in with that. He's all okay.
I was pretty happy with it. I mean, especially having to come out and go first. I had to handle him on one mark. He got a little confused. Had a solid blind. That blind is going to eat some people up when this thing's over with. It's tight at the end, and either people are going to play it real fat into the water and get points deducted from the judges, or they're going to get too close to that edge and those dogs are going to get out, and I don't think they're going to be very favorable on that as well.
We are just getting started here. We're about to take you back into Huntsville to the Valley Bend Shopping Center for the Yukanuba Super Doc, a whole different breed of competition. Yes, we are back in Huntsville, Alabama at the Valley Bend Shopping Center for the Yukanuba Super Doc competition. All sorts of breeds, sizes, builds lined up and keen to give this competition a try to see, just how much water they can cover in the air. Not all these teams are pros. Some are definitely amateurs, but definitely ready. Let's take a moment and meet some of these competitors.
This is Jaeger. He's almost 7 years old, Dutch Shepherd. It's a breed you don't see a whole lot in this sport. They have huge drive, but you have to get them used to the water. And he actually isn't even our dog. We're just dog sitting for the week. A mutual friend introduced us to his owners about 6 months ago, and they were having a lot of trouble with Jaeger, getting him to sit at the back of the dock.
Oh, holy cow!
So we spent some time working with him, and he has really come around. Once we got the sort of that drive under control, he now understands the game and has really done well.
This is Miss Emma. She is, of all things, a Nova Scotia duck-tolling retriever. She is just shy of 2 years of age. The whole business of the tolling, it's an old-fashioned word for luring or drawing in. The AKC lists her as the smallest of the retriever breeds. She's bred to look like a fox. She'll run along the shore. The ducks will take offense to it because she looks like a fox. They will come in and to warn the other ducks. And at that point, the hunters take over. And then she will go out and get them. Emma has done fly ball, that team sport of 4 dogs, kind of a relay race for dogs. She does agility. She does obedience. And, of course, the duck diving.
Well, most of these breeds have some water aptitude in their genetic makeup, but we're seeing some others as well. In fact, a first for us, a bulldog.
Titan is a 2-year-old American bulldog, and he has shown in conformation He's a junior champion. He's also active in obedience and rally. He's starting agility in flyball as well. We tried this last year for the first time, and they worked with us a lot on the public day on Friday and got him to the point where he would finally come to a stop and then jump. But he loved it so much we had to come back.
This is Zen. He's a 5-year-old Black Russian Terrier.
Zen probably has as much fun as any dog I've ever seen in my entire life. Look at his pose, ladies and gentlemen. Look at him. Come on. You gotta love that.
He's an AKC champion. He's been to Westminster and he's been to Long Beach at the Yukanuba National Show. He's gotten awards of merit. He got Best Bred by Exhibitor. He has lots of wins in the show ring and group placements. He also is a certified therapy dog, and he has a Rally Novice title and a Canine Good Citizen. He's passed the herding instinct test, and he's also done weight pull and has won some weight pulls. He's traveled from coast to coast. He's been to New York City and Long Beach, and next month we're going to Orlando.
Professional handler and dog right there. Come on, had to go. Oh, come on, Zen. Come on, buddy. Come on.
Well, he is not the world champion dock diving dog, except in his own mind. His best jump, I think, is 11 feet. He loves the water. We can't keep him out of it.
You know what? When you said show dog, you truly said it.
I mean, you don't want to be standing within 12 feet of him when he comes out of the pool. You're going to get soaking wet.
Look at him showing off. Unbelievable.
How about Zen and that explosive effort from a standing start, basically? No doubt about it, that is a showstopper. But our show rolls on. We've got more terrific retriever action from the field on the way.
Drake Waterfowl's 4x4 Team Medley has been brought to you by Drake Waterfowl, innovators in waterfowl hunting. DNT Media, we make market leaders. And powered by Yukanuba.
Back at the Drake's 4x4 Team Medley competition. This is Team Gaston's Custom Calls. And on the line right now, Mark Land, his dog, Rose. They are ready. Mark is an amateur, a dentist, in fact, who only runs his dog 2 or 3 times a month in season. And Chris Aiken, is the lack of time on the water, can that be, in this situation, a disadvantage?
Well, no. I mean, he's never at disadvantage when he's got this kind of dog. This is a great dog right here. She can put it all together and do a really good job for him. Mark's super intense about everything he does, and he puts a lot of time and energy and effort into this dog, and you're going to see a good showing right here.
What is this dog's strength?
You know, I think marking is probably her best thing. I mean, you know, this dog really wants to do well for Mark, really wants to do well for herself, and that's a great combination in a dog. These amateurs, you got to remember, these dogs spend time in the bed with them, in the back seat, going duck hunting with them all year long. I mean, these guys are an extension of them. I mean, this dog probably spends time in his office, and that's something a pro cannot compete with. I mean, let's face it, 15, 20 dogs, you get a little crowd in a queen-size bed with that.
Absolutely. Of course, it is fascinating, this whole dynamic between the amateur and the pro. Of course, the professional trainer, handler, of course, has got the big stable of dogs, and yet the amateur so different with one dog. It's sort of the whole life spent shared together. They've worked together probably more than any single combination in the pro setup, and we see it with the intensity of these dogs.
He loves it. He loves it. I'm going to tell you. And the better she does, the higher he's going to get. You watch.
So far, Rose doing really well.
She is. I mean, she's going across the pond. She knows where she's going. She's not looking around. I mean, she knew in a small area over there where it is. Now she just got to go in there and root it out and come up with it, and she's going to. Mark's keeping all his fingers and toes crossed here that she's going to cross the path of it. Not a lot of scent on these birds. Not a lot of scent at all.
There we go. This team bringing the enthusiasm Mark Land certainly into it. The rest of his teammates at Team Gaston's Custom Calls.
But we get it done.
Yeah, they get it done. The pro-amateur dynamic really working well here. Of course, these guys are really liking the team concept.
Are you loving the event, that the fact that it's not just an individual, but that your performance is not just for you, but for your whole team?
Very much so. I very much enjoyed having everybody beside me, behind me, rooting for me, telling me things I'm doing wrong, telling me things I'm doing right, and I'm getting a lot of coaching from both Kevin Phillips and Thad Simmons. Alan Dillard's also a very good handler. If they've got advice, it's worth listening to.
Your team has a good chemistry, yeah?
Very much so. We've trained together. We've all known each other for years, and we definitely have a lot of chemistry together. Most of it's good.
Plenty of positive energy, plenty of enthusiasm. Chris Aiken, how do you best utilize that when you get to the line?
Well, here's the thing. Here's what he's got to do on this blind. You got to understand, on a mark, it's 80-90% up to the dog. I mean, you line the dog up, once you cut him loose, it's up to him from that point forward. You got to realize on a blind retrieve, it's a huge team effort. I mean, you don't want this dog to get too far to the right, don't want to get too far to the left. You got to know what cast to give. You got to know where to vocalize, not to vocalize. There's a lot of things that you've got to know your dog, and you got to know what it's liable to do before it ever does it. So you're forecasting the future is what you're doing on the blind. And so what you've got to do is you can't make a mistake. I mean, when you're trying to win something, you can't make a mistake. You can't guinea pig on anything. You've got to make every cast, every whistle count, and that's exactly what everybody's trying to do here on the blind.
All right, eyes on Rose. She has got the situation handled right there. Everything going perfectly for this team. Plenty of enthusiasm and appreciation. That's gone a long way for this part-time handler, full-time dentist, Mark Land.
You know, it's so much fun to show how good a dog you really have. I mean, let's face it, when you're training every day, you know how good it is, but in this event, you get to show how good it is to the world.
Well, the world certainly got an eye full here today. Some great performances. And we look forward to plenty more. Our competition is going full speed here in Huntsville, Alabama, and we'll have a lot more for you when we come back next time.